Alrighty. Alright, so we are up. This is all working. We have all the other reports set out. We are sent. Go to the stream. That's not what I want at all. There we go. Alright. Welcome. It says I have one viewer. Oh, I need to get the Discord link too. The Discord should send out in about a minute. Got some fun stuff for today. A little goofier. Yesterday was a little bit more serious, or it started more serious. Got a little goofy at the end, but be vibing anyway. Oh, excuse me. Welcome to anyone who's here. My name's David. This is Fresh Faces New Ideas. You can follow me here. You could follow me on YouTube at Fresh Faces New Ideas. You can follow me at Twitter at Faces Ideas. And Control V. That's the Discord link. Chat with pretty much anybody about anything. So that's good. We'll get some fun stuff today. A little bit more of a history stream than I expected. Stuff kind of just popped up. One of the segments we're going to be doing I found kind of by accident. And then I said, oh, fuck it. We're going to go look some stuff up today. But it'll be pretty easy. We got to talk about two Candace Owens segments. One of them I found literally by accident. Like 2 minutes ago I found it. So we're going to go watch that. Then let's see what else we got. Let me see what else. We have more Trump reporting. We got a PragerU video. There's an important date from today, about a year ago. We have some Louis Gohmert stuff. And we're going to end on abortion rights. Well, when I say end on abortion rights, that's the last segment I have planned. Where we get stun-locked or off-roaded by you, chatters. We'll see. We'll probably do the lab theory tomorrow. That'll be the plan because it's Memorial Day week, so there's not really around. So the news is a little slow. What up, Big Papa Fascists? We'll have an interesting day today, but we'll see. Hopefully, people like it. We got some interesting stuff I got lined up. It'll be fun. I hope you enjoy it. I think next Tuesday, I think I'm going on a podcast to talk about the first round of the playoffs with a friend of mine who I did a podcast on before. So I'm going to talk to him about whether I can stream it while we're doing it. We do it through Zoom, so I'll see if I can do that. And then if I can't, then it will be up on the YouTube channel. I'll have the links to that on the YouTube channel. But that's for the people who don't follow me just for the political stuff. It's for the people who follow me for the basketball stuff. I haven't watched a huge amount of the games, but I've seen enough and followed and read enough to know what's going on. But yeah, we got a nice easy day today. Well, easy day, but we're gonna do a little bit more of a deep dive research stuff. If we end up doing the China lab stuff, it's gonna be entirely researched. I'm not gonna prep any of the sources. We're gonna learn all that shit together on stream because I don't even know where to start. So we'll learn some things together, and that'll be how it goes. Hold on one second. I need to check something. Okay. right, that is up. Good. How many viewers? We have 3 viewers. I don't know why Streamlabs telling me I have less viewers than actual Twitch does, but it's fine. Yeah. So, let's see. We have yesterday was the Memorial Day, so there was some Ken Club decided some stuff, and then we're gonna talk about that for Candace Owens, and then she has a video responding to Naomi Osaka, I think is her name is. It's the tennis player. And I have strong thoughts about Candace. I'll probably end up saying them. We have a PragerU video, which will be fun. I got to learn some things. Well, since I haven't done a like an actual research stream on this, it's I'm gonna try to figure out where the information takes me, but I have to find the actual sources. So when I like prep segments, I know what I want to talk about. Like I know like the data is there. I just need to find the reporting to on the events. So it's not just me saying something. I'm saying, okay, look, here's what it is. For the actual research stream, we're gonna be Googling it. It's gonna be a lot of me saying I'm not an expert on this. I don't know if this is accurate. But we'll see. I mean, I like to think of myself as pretty intelligent, being able to understand sources pretty well. So I don't want to just support my worldview. If I wanted just a community of people who squawked back the same things as me, you probably wouldn't be here. I prefer to be challenged. In fact, I think more people in my audience disagree with the things that I say than agree with them. So that's always fun. But yeah, that's the point, because we're still tiny. So having more of you have discussions is good. But yeah, all right. So it looks like we can get started. What do we have for first? Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. Hold on. Let me just close this. Yeah. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know who Ken Klippenstein is, he used to be a reporter for TYT, and I think he works at The Intercept now, right? Is that where he works? Hold on. He works for the... Yeah, he works for The Intercept. Okay. I know he worked for TYT for a while, and then he was a DC journalist. So what happened was he reached out to some Republicans, and he sent them a thing saying, hey, my grandfather's like a military veteran or a huge supporter of yours. Let's just go to the story. So this is what he wrote. This is to Dinesh D'Souza. Sir, my grandfather was a big fan of yours as a veteran. He'd be thrilled if you could retweet a photo of him. This is a picture of him as a young private. And he sent it to... Who else did he send it to? He sent it to... he got Matt Gaetz to retweet it, and he got Matt Schlapp to retweet it, and then he got into an argument with Candace Owens. For those of you who don't know, the reason he got into an argument with people is because that's a picture of Lee Harvey Oswald. And as it turns out, Lee Harvey Oswald was a Marine. This was not something I knew. But, oh yeah, he was trolling. And the response from it was great. So in response to this, Candace Owens accused him of photoshopping him. No, I honestly, like, the Lee Harvey Oswald stuff, I didn't really look into a lot of it. I mean, it makes sense that he was a Marine if he made the shot that he did. But it's not like the history that I can call up to the top of my head was that Lee Harvey Oswald was a Marine. But I'm not accusing somebody of photoshopping somebody. And the reason this is funny is because of Candace Owens' reaction. So I want to come out and say this. I dislike Candace Owens. Yeah, look, I haven't done a deep dive of history to like really look into the Kennedy assassination with the Lee Harvey Oswald. It's just not something that I've ever had an interest in looking into. But I'm not hypocritical about these things. This was just funny trolling. And the reason it's funny is because Candace is a bad person. Everything Candace Owens does, especially now. So Candace used to be more left wing. Texas banning. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that. Yes, Texas banning abortion is big government. I don't even know if we're talking. Did we talk? Oh, we did talk about the Texas bills. Those are crazy. It's not so much that they're banning them. It's like the money involved in it. It's like if your uncle's cousin's sister's brother once thought that maybe you should have an abortion, you could be sued by your next door neighbor for it. So that's my problem with the Texas bill, because it's a new type of Texas bill it's a new type of abortion. What? Come pop off. There it goes. It's a new type of abortion bill that yes she is. We'll get to her in a second. That it's not designed like in the normal ways that the abortion bills we're going to talk about later are designed to basically challenge Roe v. Wade in order to overturn it. The Texas bill is a different attempt at it because it's not directly threatening your ability. Right. Yeah. Thank you. You're right. We'll go into her in a little bit. We got a video from her. The Texas bill is designed to scare people off without actually being illegal by basically just opening up people for lawsuits. It's like the scope of which a person could be sued for these abortions and like the thinnest threads and the inability for the person who like suing them. Like I could sue any person in Texas on the thought of an abortion for like the thinnest arguments, and even if I lose, I don't have to pay any of their legal fees. So you can just drown people in these lawsuits. But yes, as for Candace, she doesn't have an ideology other than whatever makes her money. She used to be left leaning. She used to be in favor of things like the NAACP, like when she used it to help sue the people who were harassing her. I think it was in her high school. And then she just says whatever she thinks will get her the most money. I don't believe she really has an ideology. She's just there for the money. Unlike people like Dave Rubin. So there's a difference between Candace and Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin is very dumb. He just like he is. But he's a grifter. Because they both fall into categories of things that work effectively for conservative grifters. Dave Rubin is a gay person who will say things against gay people in the same way that Candace is a black person who will say things against black people. Then they'll use them as shields. So my issue with her is there's no the things she advocates for are detrimental to the overall use of the country. When she talks about things, first of all, she's a hypocrite, but then she's not really trying to have solutions. She's just there to make people angrier and dumber. Her 19-minute, what was it, 19 minute Facebook creed on George Floyd, just her George Floyd stuff in general, is just wild. She has such a disdain for what happened to him, in the sense that she's mad people were outraged about it. She's mad that there was justice served in that case. She was mad that he became a section of a movement, because she doesn't understand that George Floyd wasn't picked by BLM to be, kind of the spark that lit this flame. The people who advocate for these things, the change in policing, was not the ones who picked George Floyd. George Floyd was picked by the police that when they killed him. And unlike, no, conservatives love big government when it comes to controlling the rights of minorities and women. They don't like big government when it comes to their taxes and business. That's it. If it has to do with taxes or their ability to control some other people, then they're all for it. So there's that. Look, that's part of why this idea that the government should stay out of my business. The easy solution is, well, what about abortion? And the other thing with abortion is, their solutions to abortion is just just make it illegal. They don't actually advocate, and it's proof that they don't give a shit about I'm sure there actually, let me rephrase this. I'm sure there are conservatives who actually care about unborn children who are aborted, but the lawmakers don't give a shit about them, because they don't actually advocate for any of the proven methods to deal with abortions in a substantive way that would actually solve the problems. Things like improved sex education, improved access to contraceptives, improved child care, better access to Medicare, things like that. Things that are proven ways to lower the abortion. Their answer is make it illegal for poor people. And that's just not it. And the reason I say make it illegal for poor people is because they will always be able to get an abortion for their mistresses, for their child brides, for their their wives. They will always, for their daughters, they will always be able to access it. It is not the right way. So this is the other Candace Owens section. Candace Owens responded about Naomi Osaka. So here is what I know about what happened. She apparently... Oh, looks like I just got a new follower. Thank you, Timmy the Weaker, for the follow. Naomi Osaka apparently decided not to go to whatever the tennis open is, the new one, or whatever the event is, because of for mental health issues. And I think this is part of why she doesn't talk to the press. Now, this was Candace Owens' tweet at 3. At 7, she has a video we're going to watch. And now let's be clear. Candace, whenever she does these videos, they are awful videos. They're just designed to do doublespeak and just enrage people, because she has no ideology. She just says whatever she wants that'll think or get more people. So this is her tweet to Naomi Osaka here. Naomi Osaka made the right decision. Mental illness is serious and is always an act of courage to step away to deal with personal issues. Emphasis on the word personal. It's becoming too fashionable for one person's experience to transform into a demand for everyone else. We're not going to go through the end of this because she has a video. This is... who even put this out? I don't know who this person is. But this is from her Instagram. Now, the reason I don't have this from her Instagram is I don't really use Instagram. I just recently learned out it has a chat function, because to me, Instagram is kind of pointless. Anyway, so this is 4 hours after her tweet in response to, backing up Naomi. Is this video?
I wanted to jump and do this live, switching gears here, obviously. Maybe not even switching gears. Maybe that's a great place to start talking about fallen soldiers, right? It's crazy to think.
Oh, and another thing that's that I don't think it's mentioned enough. Anytime she talks about Parler and she doesn't bring up the fact that her husband is the CEO, that's a conflict of interest. Just for the record.
That just a few short generations ago, we had people that were around 18, 19, 20 years old that were going to a foreign land to die for our freedoms. If you watch documentaries like I do, I talk about this on my show tomorrow, it is just to really understand how young these boys were, not just in America, not just in the UK, in Germany, in Japan. These boys were young and they knew they were going to die.
No. So what the one she's referring to is World War II, I believe. But yes, more currently it has been to die for oil. But what she's referring to is she's making a comparison between Naomi Osaka's generation and the World War II and the World War I generation. The problem here is that Candace is pretty much in the same, she's just outside the same generation as Naomi Osaka. Candace is 32, so she's just missed the cutoff for a millennial, and I think Naomi is the tail end of the millennials. So I mean they're not that different. There's really no difference in generational growth between Candace and Naomi Osaka.
Operations where getting on the plane 50.
No, my understanding is that where the cutoff is? I thought it was 30 is the cutoff for millennials. I always forget what the generational group. I know millennials are older than they're projected in media saying, millennials are confused at what to do after they get out of college, but most of them are well out of college. So is it close to 40? I thought the cutoff was 82. Well, I guess if it was 82, then you would be 40.
54% chance you were going to die. There were some operations during World War II where these kids, literally 18, 19 years old, knew they were getting on to a plane that did not have enough fuel to bring them back. So they knew it was, obviously Japanese soldiers. I guess that's even something else to talk about in terms of, because Naomi Osaki is, Japanese. These soldiers knew that they were going out for their country to commit suicide. Imagine you were actually on a suicide mission, right? It is just so weird to think that was just a couple of generations ago. That was your average 18, 19, 20-year-old willing to die, terrified, but willing to die for their country and for their freedoms. And today, we have people that genuinely think it is mentally stressful to have to stand for the flag. They think it's mentally stressful to have to speak to the press after.
Now, there's a lot of being conflated here. So, you have to, first off, she's discounting any single person who goes into the military out of high school. I'm going to get to that in a second. Second, I don't know if anyone's actually, mentally scarred, or if this is a talking point I've ever heard of, that you're it's a mental scarring to have to stand for the flag. There's counterpoints to it, about indoctrination, because it's, it is objectively weird how we, have little children pledge allegiance to a flag every day. Other countries don't do that. When we do it for sports, which is something she's going to bring up, and keep in mind, I haven't watched this whole video because I found it 2 minutes before we started streaming. But yeah, also the, talking to the press can be mentally stressful. There are some people who can't do public speaking. Just because you are a professional athlete and you have a microphone stuck in your face doesn't mean, even if you don't even have to be a professional athlete, what if you are, because of the internet and stuff, we have access to videos and these kids become celebrities at younger and younger age. I mean, Mikey Williams is like a 10th grader maybe. We've known about Mikey Williams since he was like 11. Like, how do you train a kid to deal with that? So that could very well be mentally strainful. There are plenty of professional athletes who do not like to talk to. Where are you from, Timmy? If you don't mind me asking. Canada. I mean, that's like America Light. So yeah, it's not like when you say like, oh, talking to the media is an issue. It's like, yeah, but there's plenty of people who don't talk to the media. They don't find it stressful. They just don't like it. They it's a different level. Tim Duncan was famously quiet to the media. Kawhi is famously quiet to the media. Pop and Bill Belichick are aggressive with the media. There's some people who just don't like this aspect of their thing. Some of them are just there to play sports. They don't need all the media controversy. So it is possible for people to be, stressed about this. This is not a mental weakness to have this time, because all it is it's an extension of not be comfortable public speaking, and also the fact that you can your life is always in the open, and people always writing articles about you, whether they're true or not, debating you, are you good enough? Did you do the right thing? So it is very possible to look at this in a rational way and say, no, this is not like a generational weakness thing. And also, when she did this was done on Memorial Day. So just for the fact of this, is she's like insulting the student, the kids, because I mean, if you're 18, you're a child, who are like in the military now. There's plenty of people who join the military based when they're younger, whether they do it out of patriotic duty, whether they do it to pay for schooling, whatever the reason is. There's plenty of them that do it.
Game. And I'm not saying it's not. You know what? I am not Naomi Osaka, right? So for those of you that don't know the backstory, she is the best female tennis player right now in the world. She is the highest paid athlete in the world. She's raking in something like $52 million a year to play tennis, which is an aggressive, it's a hard sport. I'm not going to pretend I don't think athletes have a ton of demand upon their bodies, but you're being asked to play sport, right? And it's interesting to fast forward, because she's in the age group. I think she's 23 years old. Of those soldiers that died, right? 3,000 soldiers didn't make it past D-Day. That would die on the beaches of Omaha in France. And it's just interesting to do a fast forward, going backwards, then fast forwarding to today, and just looking at the average person and what they deem to be stressful. Our register for stress has dramatically just dropped, right? We're not able to deal with stress anymore.
So I don't think this is true. What I think it is because we have, now keep in mind, science has changed drastically from what she's referring to in World War II. So the ability for people to truly understand like the mental issues or the drain on things is different than it was then. Just science and understanding the human brain is more advanced. So it is possible, maybe, that the reason people appear to be more stressed is because we understand stress better, and also because we have the internet. There's different type of stressors that we did not have, during World War II. People who are online, and the ability for people to reach out and have access to this whole new world. You have access to the whole world now. Well, depending on, how good your internet connection is, where the different countries. Like, look, Timmy is in Canada. You think in 1930, 1940, I could have a conversation with him where I could just be speaking in my room and he couldn't fucking hear me unless we're on a phone. But that wouldn't include anyone else who's in this chat at this point. And I couldn't do this simultaneously while watching something else. So the ability to be more connected allows us to have different experiences that aren't really comparable. It doesn't make your generation weaker because you have different issues than a previous generation. We're not stronger because we're not dying from the same diseases that are, people used to get diarrhea and shit themselves to death. Or the Black Plague. Like, we're not... those generations aren't weaker than us because of advancements in technology, advancements in diets, and just advancements in antibodies. We're not, significantly better based on that. It's just, as the evolution marches on.
Generation just can't deal with it. The concept of having to go out and die, don't even think about it. Because right now, it's just the concept of having to go out and talk to the press. Public speaking makes people feel mentally stressed. And
again, this is both discounting the actual people in today's generation who do these things, and it is also discounting people who have always been stressed about public speaking. It is just a fact. Like, I'm sure anyone who is, everyone remembers being in high school and having to do a public report on something. And maybe it wasn't you, but there was always some kid who just wasn't good at it. So, this is not a knock on people. It's a genuine fear and something that people have to work on. There are people who are just natural speakers. They can just, get in front of a crowd and it's no problem. And then there's people who have to work on it. That doesn't make you weaker than anyone else. It's not a big deal.
Some people might think, she's speaking about how it affects her health. We should honor that. But let's just backtrack here, because let's not forget what she actually did. First and foremost, she didn't just try to privately deal with this matter. She didn't say, you know what, I'm not feeling okay and I'm not going to deal with this matter. She tried to transform tennis, right? She's a 23-year-old girl. She's good at tennis. And
so even in this own thing, she contradicts herself, because she just said she's the best player in the world. And now I don't follow tennis. I just don't. But maybe she is. I thought it was still Serena Williams, but I guess it's this one according to her.
I think she's the best, and she's not a person that doesn't like press. She doesn't like bad press, right? When the press was on her during Black Lives Matter riots and she was wearing a BLM mask, she wanted attention. There's no other reason that you would wear a BLM mask during tennis finals unless you want attention. You wanted to draw attention to yourself and draw attention to your cause. You wanted to make something that has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter tennis, right? It has nothing to do with an organization. She knows nothing about the organization.
Okay, so there's a lot here. Candace is very anti-Black Lives Matter. She's anti-Black Lives Matter because she is pro-black people getting killed by the police. What she's equating here is following a cause. Now, if Naomi Osaka wore a mask that said Trump 2020 on it, she would be the darling of the right. I don't know if you remember during one of the award shows. I don't actually watch them. There was an actress, I think it was an actress, who wore like a Trump 2020 dress, or it was something Trump related, or maybe it was a flag. But when she did it, it was like, oh, we love her. She's the best person ever. She's great. But if somebody, like Naomi Osaka tries to support the largest civil rights movement in this country in like a half a century, she's just it's all about her. She doesn't understand what Black Lives Matter is. She doesn't know where all the dark money comes from. That's something she's going to say, because to Candace, you can't separate these things. the Black Lives Matter organization doesn't represent the entirety of the movement. And I've said this before. And people in the movement have said this before, because they're not just they're people in it who take the money and don't do the things that they want. There's that one that they love talking about this. They use individual examples to denigrate the entirety of a movement.
Naomi Saki cannot tell you where the money goes when doing stuff to Black Lives Matter. She has no idea that it's dark money. She has no idea the money is not.
Okay, but like by the same token, if she wants to make it all about herself, could Candace Owens tell you where the dark money comes from for her political candidates? No. First of all, there's a reason it's called dark money. Second, that's not relevant. It doesn't matter if you know where the money comes from or where it goes. You can still support Black Lives Matter without knowing where the money goes. That's not a requirement. There's no gatekeeping to this that says that.
Going to Black communities, but she wears this because she wants people to pay attention to her, and now everybody wants to be Colin Kaepernick. Everybody wants to figure out how you can take something that everybody likes and ruin it and make it about a political message, right? So,
see, two things here. Colin Kaepernick did not want to draw attention to himself. Or, maybe he did. But the reason Colin Kaepernick thing exploded was because of people like Candace. It's because of people like her that decided that, you know what? We're going to take his message and we're going to misconstrue it. And we're going to make it about faux patriotism. And from that, they got him fired. So no, Colin Kaepernick was out here not here to ruin football or make football worse. You misinterpreted what he was doing and the actual words that he said to get him fired. Or, in today's Republican speak, the right canceled Colin Kaepernick. Now, whether or not he was good enough to play is a totally separate thing. But that's not the point.
Naomi Osaka said, you know what? Everybody likes tennis. Nobody's complaining about tennis. Everybody seems to be enjoying the sport. How can I do something to draw attention to myself, right? And to get the conversation going, because everybody seems to just like the sport and it's just not controversial enough, right? It's every sport. Basketball, LeBron James. Everyone seems...
What kind of world? Like, I don't understand this worldview. Does she really believe that this 23-year-old was like, you know what? I need more controversy. And now let's be clear. There are absolutely athletes who thrive on controversy, whether they do it or not. Kyrie, most recently stomping on the logo for the Celtics, was something he tried to do to create a controversy. Maybe he didn't, think further than stopping on it, but he knew in his head he was doing something disrespectful to that franchise. But he wasn't doing, and there's wrestlers who, try to thrive on controversy. This idea that athletes who have this political platform are trying to be controversial and make their sport... Why would you make... First off, even from a business sense, what sense does it make to say, I'm going to make my sport worse? Like 8 brain cells are required to break this apart.
To be really liking this basketball sport. Everyone just really, people are coming to the games, the kids are high-fiving, they obviously like me, all the kids are wearing my jersey. How can I make it so that everybody's miserable, doesn't want to watch it? I know what I'll do. I'm not going to stand for the national anthem, right? So there's one in every crowd.
Now, keep in mind, the actual people who've tried to cancel sports are people on the right. They won't watch football because they kneel for the anthem, which was a fake controversy they made. They don't like basketball because both the anthem thing, they wore Black Lives Matter stuff on their jersey. They put it on their courts. They don't like baseball, because baseball gave like the most milquetoast response to voter suppression bills. And they don't like NASCAR because they can't do their traitor flag anymore. So the reason people aren't watching these sports is bullshit. And it's partly because of people like Candace.
I think right now we might be okay with the NHL, right? And golf.
The NHL is Canadian. Nobody cares.
Golf seems pretty like we're just going to play golf right now. You don't see Tiger Woods coming out with a Black Lives Matter mask or anything like that. But these are everywhere else. Naomi Saki said, this is going to be me, right? I want attention. I want the press on me. I want them talking about me. So she likes attention, right? But recently decided that she's so good for the sport. She issued a bratty statement and she just said, you know what? I just decided I'm not going to be doing press conferences anymore because people need to understand that athletes have mental health and like I can't do this anymore. And not only am I not going to do it, I'm going to accept the fine because I can afford it. And hopefully they'll take my fine, this money that I have, and just donate it to a mental health clinic because I'm not doing it anymore. Because this is now about me and we shouldn't have to do this. Now, what's wrong with that statement? And this kind
Wait, first off, before she goes into this, there's nothing wrong with that statement. If an athlete does not want to do media speeches, they don't want to deal with the media because they do actually have mental health issues about it, they shouldn't have to. And if you're going to fine them because that's what your rules are, and they can pay the fine, and they can dictate where that fine goes, and it is to mental health, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why is that an issue? Look, there's plenty of athletes that have come out. DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love both came out in the last couple of years talking about depression. Marshawn Lynch famously would not talk to the press, and they fined him. And then they had it. And then I think for one of the Super Bowls, he came out and said, all he said to them was, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." So because I can't. The fact that she said, send this money to mental health institutions or for research into that, there's nothing fucking wrong with that. There's a good chance Candace is going to say something truly insane.
To, I guess, the moral of this live. For whatever reason, this younger generation that's coming up believes that whatever personal problem they have, everybody now has to join on their problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not a personal problem. They universalize it. It's like, my name is Candace, and I'm allergic to peanuts. And you know what that means? No more peanuts anywhere ever because I'm allergic. That's kind of their mentality. It's the height of narcissism, right?
Okay. Bad example. And you are guilty of the same thing. So, first off, if you have a peanut allergy, as one of my brothers did, you can't, depending on the severity of the allergy, you do need to dictate that. Because if you have some type of possibly deadly allergy, and you go into an area with that, whatever triggers that allergy, you can die. So, obviously, you would want to be able to dictate that you don't die. Now, that has nothing to do with the rest of this. That was just a really stupid example. Also, the Colin Kaepernick thing was the exact issue that she is describing. Colin Kaepernick was canceled by the right because he decided to ask Green Beret for what he should do. And there was other people who were sitting and doing other things. And then the right made it an issue. And they said, I'm offended by this, so everyone else has to be offended, and you have to do something about it. Me. That's literally what happened.
So this is not just depression. People can be depressed about anything. You never know what trips somebody into depression. This is about people that use mental health as a way to garner the most, the peak of narcissism, which is that I want the whole sport to no longer do press conferences because I don't like them.
Is this something she said? Right. But that's a different story than why he was originally thrown out. We're now like 4 years removed from that. The reason he was thrown out was because the president of the United States started a backlash over bullshit. I want to see what the statement is. Okay, here is her actual statement. So what we're looking for in here is her saying that nobody in the rest of the tennis should do any media. That's exactly what Candace said. Hi, everyone. This is a situation I've never imagined. I think the best for the tournament, the other players, and my well-being is that I withdraw so that everyone can get back to focusing on the tennis going on tennis. I never wanted to be a distraction. I accept my timing is not ideal, and my message could have been clearer. More importantly, I've never trivialized mental. What Sans Press says, I'm not a natural public speaker. Get huge weights of anxiety. So here in Paris, okay, so this statement does not say what Candace claimed it said. I don't know if there's another statement, but I don't need to look into it further to know that she's just lying.
Now, obviously, tennis players come out, and this is why she's now stepped down from the finals, because it kind of blew up in her face. When tennis players came out, some said, and these are top tennis players, I actually like doing the press conferences. And others said, it's a part of the job. That's pretty crazy, right? It's a part of the job is kind of the best thing to say to this, because it's literally a part of her job. It's why she's raking in $50 million per year.
She's raking it in for the ability to play tennis and the sponsorships. But if by the same token it's a part of their job and then she is fined for not doing it, that would be the punishment necessary. And then she pulled herself from it. Look, let's see what else is going on.
Because they're asking her to play tennis and to show up at a press conference. And show up at a press conference wearing whatever logo it is that's sponsoring her, take a few questions, right? That is why she is making $50 million a year as a 23-year-old, right? I would take that job any day. She's being asked to do her job.
That's because you're a grifter.
I can't imagine how selfish you have to be to believe that the entire sport should change to accommodate a personal struggle that you're going through.
All right, I gotta find. There's no way. Okay, she's just making she's creating a straw man here. This is a straw man argument. So what a straw man argument is she's setting up an argument that she could just punch at that's never going to say anything back to her, because what she's doing, this is not a genuine argument. This is not what Naomi Osaka said, unless somebody wants to find the actual quote and prove me wrong. She's just going after a 23-year-old. My guess is because she's jealous of the money and misrepresenting it.
Personal struggle, you say, is that you don't like giving press conferences. Like that's the struggle you're going through. I mean, we are just so privileged. I mean, I can't deal with how privileged. When you look around right now, look at the people that are the most oppressed, right? LeBron James, $100 million a year. Naomi Osaka, $50 million a year. Meghan Markle, billionaire. Who
she hates Meghan Markle.
Multi-millionaire times a year, right? These are the people that keep getting in front of your face and talking to you about mental health. Prince Harry is doing a whole segment on mental health on Oprah. And
yeah, but what's the problem with that? First off, the idea that LeBron said he was oppressed, that's never what LeBron said. That's not even what this woman said. And I legitimately could give less of a fuck about Meghan Markle and Harry. But you're now mocking them for whatever mental issues that they have. Which is something Candace had just gone about after Chrissy Teigen for, from what I've seen, rightfully so.
We're supposed to feel bad for them. Their idea is they're being brave because they're speaking out about their mental health issues, and they need you to feel bad for them. They're not going overseas to die on foreign land. No.
Okay, you know what? We're done with this. I can't. Final thoughts on this. Candace Owens is a vile human being. This type of shit that she does is vile. People look up to these people. When they come out and say something about mental health, it actually helps people down the line. Naomi Osaka's statement that we just looked at did not say, I want you to feel sorry for me. It said, I have something I'm dealing with, and I don't want to take away from this sport. So once again, Candace Owens is proving that she is a piece of shit. Now let's move on from Candace Owens to the Orange Man bad. According to Maggie Haberman, which for reasons she's still reporting on Trump, which, makes sense. The people are like, oh, Maggie Haberman, why are you still being a Trump mouthpiece? Because he's still in charge of the Republican Party. Apparently, Trump has been telling a number of people he's in contact with. He expects to get reinstated by August. This is not a thing that can happen. But the problem is this embed that she added with Donnie O'Sullivan, who does CNN. He basically follows all the QAnon stuff and the MAGA stuff. So here he is talking about this. Now, this goes into what we talked about yesterday, where it is that about the Myanmar uprising. Now, first, Michael Flynn has now said he did not advocate for this. We actually didn't see the clip because it was shot terribly. But to nitpick at that, he is technically right. The Marine who asked him about the coup pronounced Myanmar minimum. They didn't actually say Myanmar. The implication was there, and Flynn backed up the implication, but the actual word Myanmar was not actually spoken. If that is his argument, whether he backed the coup is 100% not in an argument. So here are some Trump supporters. I don't know where this is.
Biden is he's like a puppet president. The military is in charge. It's going to be like Myanmar. What's happening in Myanmar? The military is doing their own investigation, and at the right time, they're...
Okay, so first a little background on Myanmar. Similar to what happened in Bolivia, one side declared that there was voter fraud and that the election wasn't fair. And then they took power and they never proved it. In Myanmar, the military did it. And in response, they've killed 1,000 people. That's what these people are advocating for. And this is part of why January 6th is such an issue. Because these people are advocating for the violent overthrow of the government. Because that's what happened. Based on a lie that keeps getting debunked over and over again. I was literally in this argument with somebody yesterday where at one point, in response to somebody who said something in response to me, a Republican person said, look, I'm a Republican. You need to actually look at the facts, and they're all lying to you. Please stop repeating this. And the person's only response was wrong. So all these people know about the Myanmar coup is the words coup and election. It wasn't a fair election. That's all they know. They don't know anything else about it. And probably that one, right when it started, there was that clip of that hip-hop yoga instructor while the fucking tanks were going on behind him. That's probably all these people know about this coup.
We're going to be restoring the republic with Trump as president.
What's going on in America right now? The government took over and they're redoing the election, correct? That could possibly happen here, possibly.
Would you like to see it happen?
Absolutely.
I would like to see it happen. Really? Yes.
You know why? Because the election was stolen from us.
Donnie joins us.
Look, anyone who espouts this election was stolen from us, or, we should be doing, first off, if you're advocating for a coup, that's just not American. We only coup other places. That's how we do it. But as for here, there's just no proof. It just isn't. To still be, we're now almost 4 months into the Biden administration. To still be saying this, you are now a lunatic. And if you are somebody who's peddling this, you're a grifter or a liar or insane. Now, we're going to skip ahead to something else. This is Louis Gohmert. Louis Gohmert is kind of an idiot. He was at the, what the hell was this thing called again? The For God and Country Patriot Roundup in Texas, in which Louis Gohmert said this statement. Some of us think Pearl Harbor was the worst attack on democracy. Some of us think 9/11 was the worst attack. Some of us think these things are worse attacks on democracy. He's referring to what happened on January 6th. Now, the difference between Pearl Harbor and 9/11, besides the body counts, are Pearl Harbor and 9/11 was not an attack on democracy. It was an attack on America by a foreign power. This was an attack by the American people on the system of government that we have, trying to upturn a free and fair election that we had. Now, Louis Gohmert has also said, this is just a general update of the things here. This is him talking to a whole bunch of people. He then admitted he was not here. I would submit that weaponizing the FBI and Department of Justice against one administration was an attack on democracy. Let's see. Does it say? Anyway, Louis Gohmert claims that it was both, there was actually left-wing radicals who attacked the Capitol in order to make Trump and Trump supporters look bad. Hold on 1 second. My screen is going to go blank while I plug this in. How far are we in this? Oof, an hour already. So, and this, I have to ask every single person. This includes other streamers, especially those who have not read it, the bill. And I say that because if you watched the Until Further Notice last night, both Spartacus and I believe Cutsleeves did not read what was in the bill when they were debating it. They did not seem to understand what was going on there. And if they want to prove me wrong, come on. But I watched it. You had no idea what you were talking about. If you believe this lie, that there was left-wing agitators, and it was actually Antifa and BLM who attacked the Capitol, and you're someone who believes this, how do you feel right now knowing the Republicans blocked this investigation? Because you've heard for months that it was Trump supporters and the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, these good old boy religions, these good old boy groups that are just, out here, they're patriot groups who did this terrible thing, and now they're all getting treated like shit in prison, and they all shouldn't be there. You heard that it's, they were just there on tours, they were just wandering around doing nothing. It's just a regular day at the Capitol. Why do you not matter that the Republicans didn't want to clear their name? Because let's be clear, people like Louis Gohmert and Matt Gaetz, who have spread this idea that, and Ron Johnson, who spread this idea that was actually Antifa, all voted against this commission. It's here the Republicans in the House who voted for it. Cheney, Rice, Newhouse. I don't have to read John Katko, who unfortunately still has tire tracks on his back from where Kevin McCarthy ran over him. So, you know whose names you don't see on this list? You don't see Louis Gohmert. You don't see Matt Gaetz. You don't see Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's too off being anti-Semitic. You see Americans who really wanted to see what happened here. So I have to ask you, for any Republican who's in my chat, which I imagine is more than not, because there's been like 3 people I've had conversations with that actually agree with me on these things, or in general on my chat. Why aren't you madder? Why aren't you mad that your representative is covering up the attack of Antifa? We can finally reveal who Antifa is. Andy Ngo is doing a great job at it. So shouldn't you be madder? Shouldn't you demand that your lawmaker look into what happened on January 6th to prove that it was Antifa? I mean, come on, guys. This takes like 8 brain cells to put together. Why are the Republicans protecting Antifa? And if their reason is it wasn't Antifa, well, then why do they keep telling you that? There's also a Tucker Carlson clip, but I don't really care about that. There's another thing. So, chat, you seem kind of quiet right now. Let me see how many of you there are. There's 5 of you. Damn it. I hope you didn't really see that image. I have a question for you, chat, real quick. Can anyone tell me what happened a year ago today? I'll give it about a minute, just to see if anyone is listening and wants to respond. Big event. I think it was a seismic moment in the Trump administration that happened a year ago today. Okay, well, you're all sleeping then. This photo op happened a year ago today. A year ago today, a peaceful protest at Lafayette Square was tear-gassed at the order of either directly Donald Trump or Bill Barr. I don't know if it's been clear yet. And they were ordered to do that so Donald Trump could walk around with a whole bunch of military people and hold the Bible upside down in front of a church. This was unbelievable when it happened. This should have been the moment any reasonable Republican looked at this and said, I do wear my own merch. I'm getting there to the point where I can start selling it. But thank you, the riddle. I got to keep people going. Also, it helps hide the fact that I need a haircut and I just haven't gotten around to do it. So, that works too. But look, this. Now I'm going to tell you something that I don't talk to people about a lot. Before this, I was a selective Bernie or Buster guy. I didn't think that Joe Biden was the answer. I thought he was a weak candidate who probably would have lost to Donald Trump had it not been for COVID, and I'm right. But my advocacy for it was basically if you didn't live in New York or California, I have no idea. Just let trans people be trans. I don't give a fuck about how many genders there are. You want to call yourself a toaster? It doesn't matter. When this happened, I was like, you know what? Every vote counts. This man cannot be in charge again. I still can't believe this is not. If I get bullied for how many genders there are? Look, if somebody wants to consider, first off, if somebody asks you to refer to their pronouns as he, she, they, them, zer, tree, whatever the fuck they call it, don't be a jackass. In the same way you probably have a nickname. People have nicknames. It's the same difference. Look, if you're identifying as a toaster, that's a little weird. But I don't even understand what the zer pronouns are, and I genuinely don't care. But the impact on my life, whether somebody wants to be called Yeah, but like you don't just call them whatever they look like. Like, yeah, it's a little goofy. Zer is one of those like super pronouns. What? Hold on, let me see what does being called Zer mean? Pronouns. Okay. So we're looking at pronouns. All right, good. I've literally never met Zer is gender neutral. It's somebody who refers to themselves as gender neutral. It's really not that big a deal. I've literally never met. First off, I have never met anybody who wants me to refer to them as something other than their outward appearance. But if they refer to themselves as non-binary, as a Zer or whatever it is, it'll be like, cool, whatever. Look, it's not a. Like people get worked up. This, I don't understand. Like, who gives a shit? What impact does it have in your life if someone wants to call themselves he or Zer, whatever they want to call them? It literally has no impact on you. See, that's just why. Little kids don't know any better. Well, why shouldn't a boy play with that? Yeah, but all right. So I'm not getting into a debate about gender conformity rules. You can't want to play with a Barbie. It's fine. You can teach them other different things for whatever you believe is a masculine role. It has nothing to do with what they choose to play with. It's a fucking child. He has no. They don't have the thing. They learn things from you. So if they're going to teach them, their strict gender roles, that's what they're going to have. And if your kid ends up being trans, all right, cool, bro. Beat your kid for playing with dolls, whatever. I'm sure that makes you feel like the big man. As for, I don't know if there's a colonel, neutral, or whatever. It's not general like the military rank. It's like gender. Did I say general? It's gender, not general, neutral. Anyway, look, this shit was unbelievable. Yeah, but that's different. Because they have to start, and I mean that's also a genetic thing. They have to. Nobody asked where you're from. That has nothing to do with that. Where you're from has nothing to do with your statements. It makes no difference. Anyway, this shit was like. This shit should be talked about more. This should have been like. Are you talking to him or me? Oh, you just talking to each other. All right, cool. Oh, by the way, guys, Discord. Join it. We can have other conversations. We can figure out other topics. Also, I have a. Let me just pull this back up. I have a YouTube channel, Fresh Faces New Ideas, and Twitter's Faces Ideas. So if you want to follow me on any of those things, feel free to do that. Other than that, let's keep going. So, where was I? This shit was wild. I can't believe this didn't end people's backing of him right here. He tear-gassed peaceful fucking protesters to take a photo op in front of a church. Fucking wild, man. I like this was just unbelievably wild. So, let's do a PragerU video. So, I saw this on Twitter or parts of this on Twitter. Before we get into actually You got to talk about what PragerU is. PragerU is like this anti-intellectual propaganda network run by Dennis Prager, who has written articles about marital rape in support of it. So you're a big PragerU fan? PragerU has advocated for slavery. I've done a couple of PragerU videos. I don't know if I've done them. Yeah, no, PragerU is pretty racist. They're pretty wild. So this is who does this? This is it's what's his face? Hugh Hewitt is going to talk about the real story of Watergate. I don't think so this is going to be pretty wild because PragerU is generally kind of wild.
The most famous political scandal in American history is, of course, Watergate. It's so famous that even now, 50 years after it happened, almost every scandal of any kind comes with an obligatory gate after it. If you ask most people to explain what Watergate was all about, they draw a blank. If they know a bit of history, or perhaps they lived through it, they might say something like this. It was about a bungled break-in that brought down a president. That's true.
Now, I am obviously too young to have lived through Watergate. And it's not something that I've looked into more distinctly to like the... But even I understand there's more to it than a bungled break-in that led to a presidency. It was one of the largest cover-ups of a political scandal ever. So he's going to whitewash this. And he's also going to do something that I imagine PragerU is going to do. Oh, PragerU also has a channel for children. And that's pretty wild.
But the break-in is the least significant part of the story. Watergate was first and foremost a political war between the president, Richard Nixon, and the media, which in those pre-cable days meant ABC, CBS, NBC, the New York Times, and the Washington Post. The media's aim, in the words of British historian Paul Johnson, was to use publicity to reverse the electoral verdict of 1972. Why? What did the media have against Nixon? That's a complex question.
Okay, first off, this is a gross misunderstanding of what happened in Watergate. This idea that it was just the media trying to overturn an election and that there was no underlying crimes and cover-ups is just a massive whitewashing. Now, PragerU is part of the reason that Americans are dumb. They're a big reason of why they don't understand what critical race theory is. They're, a big reason of, producing people like, helping elevate people like Ben Shapiro, things like that. They're also a big reason for mistrust in the media. That statement for what happened on Watergate, that it's just the idea to overturn an election, is fucking crazy. It whitewashes the entirety of any crime that happened.
Essentially boil it down to three things. One, he was despised by the East Coast liberal elite, of which the Washington Press Corps was a key component. Two, he was a staunch anti-communist. The media considered the communist threat to be overblown. Three, he refused to abandon South Vietnam.
Now, look, this is always the Republican talking point. Oh, the West Coast liberal elite or the East Coast liberal elite hate me. I bullied the people when they've all gone to, like, Harvard or Ivy League schools and they've all gotten this education. They're all part of this elite. It's just... Also, staunch anti-communist we're talking about during Nixon's era. The the press and stuff this was in the middle of the Cold War. This is not the press wasn't bleeding hearts for communism. We have the strongest left-wing movement in the history of our country now, in which people are starting to accept more social democratic ideas versus actual socialism, actual communism, and the media is not even on our side now, much less during Nixon's era. And also, I'm pretty sure at this point, Vietnam was considered a disaster.
Nixon insisted on a peace with honor. The media was entirely anti-war. Even though Nixon spent most of his adult life in New York and Washington, he never fit in. Born in a small town in California, there were no Ivy League degrees on his resume. To make matters worse, while not being a part of McCarthyism, he made his reputation aggressively exposing Alger Hiss, a communist in the U.S. State Department in the late 1940s. After serving as vice president under Dwight Eisenhower for 8 years, he ran against and nearly defeated John F. Kennedy, the paragon of East Coast elitism, in 1960. Then, 8 years later, and much to the media's dismay, Nixon mounted an improbable political comeback to win that year's presidential election. And then, as if rubbing the media's nose in it, he won again in a 49-state landslide in 1972. Something had to be done. Ironically, Nixon's own people provided the opportunity
So,
to the media.
look, you could, what up, DFK? You could almost lift this speech and superimpose it for Trump. Pick one of his many scandals. Or one of the 4 or 5 times he admitted to a crime on national television. And you could run the same playbook. This whole idea that PragerU is going to run on is that the media is what actually caused Nixon to resign. He actually did the right Nixon did nothing wrong. It's actually the media's fault that Nixon got taken down. Because they hate him because he's not a liberal elite and he didn't love the communists or whatever bullshit. This is just antithetical reality. It is antithetical to what happened. DFK, tomorrow I'll probably do the research stream for the lab leak because I know you're always chomping on the bit for that. So I will take a look at it then.
Had been waiting for. On June 17, 1972, 5 men associated with the Nixon re-election campaign broke into the offices of the Democratic National Committee headquarters in the Watergate office building in Washington, D.C. Presumably, they intended to gather information about the Democrats' campaign strategy. Whatever their purpose, it was a painfully dumb plan that turned catastrophic when the burglars were caught in the act and arrested by D.C. police. Nixon found out about it, like everyone else, in the morning papers. Initially, he didn't think it was a big deal. I had been in politics too long, he later wrote, and had seen everything from dirty tricks to vote fraud. I could not muster much moral outrage over a political bugging.
So this is also not this is also not what happened. The Watergate tapes prove that this is just not how he responded to it. They're leaving out a lot of context.
Today, most would conclude that if he had simply acknowledged his campaign's responsibility, owned it, as we say, fired those responsible and apologized, the whole sorry mess would have been rendered the minor incident it was. But as historian Evan Thomas noted, Nixon wasn't paying attention, and when he was confronted with the problems below deck, he didn't really engage. By the time he did, it was too late. So the
fresh ideas come all the time. Yes. No, kind of. Yeah, because they were doing treason. They were not doing treason. They were attempting to seek help from a foreign government. DFK, I don't know if you've read the Mueller report, but I did. So it breaks down into 2 parts. The first part of the Mueller report was there actual collusion? And there was the short answer is no, but there's an underlying reason. The reason there was no actual collusion Yeah, I read 400 pages. That's like a 2-day reading. I'm not reading the Mueller report on stream. I can't. Yeah, you've been around long enough to know that I can't speak and read at the same time. The first part of the Mueller report is basically they didn't collude, not because they didn't do it at all. It's because they were kind of too stupid to do it. So that's what happened. Also, it's new ideas, not fresh ideas. It's fresh faces. I'm a fresh face. Not. So look, the PragerU thing is they're trying to whitewash scandals. Yeah, I did read it. I just said that I read it. Of course, I read it. Because I knew Bill Barr was going to lie about it. So that's what this is. This is whitewashing scandals, because when you look into the history of the government and the actual crimes committed and the people who are found out for those crimes or, pardoned for those crimes, Republicans commit a lot of crime. They do. There's just if you look at the number of Republican representatives in Congress and the Senate who are arrested versus those in on the Democrat side, it's like 310. It just is. There's a reason. Yeah, they should have been reading it, because what Bill Barr and what the representation from the media was just on Bill Barr's report of it, and Bill Barr lied. Yeah, I read the whole thing. I had the time to do it. It's dull, but it's the basic premise is there. That's why the Riddler, if you hang around for when I discuss bills, well, yeah, of course they would hope that, or maybe they were putting in the public record. It's the same reason that Republicans, well, then why do Republicans have them read the entirety of the hundreds of hours? Nah, bro, I read pretty quick. I read a lot, or I used to read a lot. I can read books pretty quickly. And a lot of when you're reading reports like that is skimming. But yeah, when you're reading bills, generally you can just get the bullet points and then go back to look what you want to. So basically, he's lying here and he's minimizing.
Scandal grew beyond his control. 3 men made sure of that: a publicity-seeking judge, a revenge-seeking
FBI. You know what? Here's the thing with PragerU: they're bullshit. They're bullshit. The Watergate was a crime. They're trying to downplay it because they always downplay it. Republicans can do no bad. Democrats bad. Let's take a look at what Twitter's going on. Just out of curiosity. See if anything broke. Oh, iCarly is trending for some fucking reason. All right. Let's go to Pennsylvania. Reading it officially? No, I read officially. I mean, you can read it. It depends on what you're reading. Will depend on. Yes, Mueller did not do well on the hearing. But look, the basic thing for the Mueller report was they didn't technically collude because they were too stupid. Like a perfect example is Michael Cohen tried to get in contact with a Russian official by sending an email to him, and he yeah, it was, but it wasn't. And he emailed a wrestler instead. So look, the advantage of the Trump, it was definitely a letdown, yes. But the second part of it was absolutely he did obstruction of justice. First of all, he did it on television. Trump admitted to at least 3 separate crimes on television. The Lester Holt interview, The Lester Holt interview that led to the Mueller report was for the first obstruction of justice when he fired James Comey. The second one was during his first impeachment, where he said, I asked other countries on top of the Ukraine to look into Joe Biden. And then the third time was during the election, where he said you should go vote twice. And those are just off the top of my head. He has hinted at least twice that there was tapes. I don't know if that was ever true. Okay, so now we got to talk about Pennsylvania. And this is something I mentioned earlier. Pennsylvania and Republicans, when they push for abortion bills, they push for ending abortion in the worst possible way to do it. Just making abortion illegal, or in Texas's case, allowing people to sue basically anyone within like 4 degrees of separation, will not stop abortions. What it will do will stop poor people from getting safe abortions. The rich people will always be able to have access to it. The poor people will not. If you truly want to end abortions, you need to put funding into sex education, contraceptions, to helping people, get jobs with childcare, things like that. You have to invest in the people, not take it away and make it illegal. Those generally don't work. Usually creating that thing as a deterrent doesn't work. So Pennsylvania is going to push these abortion rules. And the reason they will not pass in order to be struck down by the courts is the governor is a Democrat. So let's take a look at some of these laws. There's 3 laws. The Heartbeat Bill, the Unborn Child Dignity Act, and the Down Syndrome Protection Act. Now, the Heartbeat Bill says, no, that's actually the exact opposite. The only people who have been found cheating in Pennsylvania were Republicans. That's exactly what happened. They found 3 separate Republicans who, one murdered his wife and tried to cheat, and tried to vote for her. One tried to vote for his dead mother, and then I don't remember what the third one was, but I know there was a third one. So for these Heartbeat bills, the argument is that it has a heartbeat at 6 weeks. This is not true. What they are reading is electronic pulses. There is not a heart. A heart is not formed at 6 weeks. And the only reason we can hear these electronic pulses is because we have good enough technology to read them. So the other problem with this is women don't know they're pregnant at 6 weeks. So by then it's already too late to get an abortion. So this and look, here is my stance on abortion. A woman should have the right to an abortion up until the point where the fetus is viable, to the point where if you removed it and incubated it, it would grow into a person. No, a lot of times they don't. It doesn't show that, or they haven't missed their period at that point. Anyway, these obviously in a case where it is rape or incest, or the mother is in danger, they should be able to have an abortion. So these heartbeat bills are just ridiculous anyway. So, oh shit, I didn't mean to hit this. Down Syndrome Protection Act will say if you know your kid has Down syndrome. Okay, do you have a uterus? And it's not a 6th sense. The Down Syndrome Act. Okay. What about Bruce Willis? the Down Syndrome Act basically says you can't abort a baby because they have Down syndrome. Now, he's not a ghost. Which, I fundamentally agree with if you were going to support them, like, to make it easier for them to have the care, because it costs a lot to deal with a kid like that. So I don't know how I feel about this one. But the Unborn Child Dignity Act requires healthcare facilities to provide parents the options of burials or cremation after the death of the unborn child, rather than be treated as medical hazardous race. Look, they should not have to bury or cremate this baby after they just had a miscarriage. And there's also reporting that voted for women to have miscarriage to force to fill out this form. Healthcare it requires women to fill out traumatic forms acknowledging their miscarriage. The form is mandatory and comes with a fine for miscarrying the child, and death certificate indicate the loss. So, if you miscarriage, wait, isn't Speed a Keanu Reeves movie? Why would you not say Die Hard? How was that not the first answer when they asked you what a Bruce Willis movie is? Is it Die Hard? So look, these are bad bills. We've lost the point here, so we're gonna go into chatting time. Welcome to the segment where I have finished the things that I want, or we have been stun-locked enough to just have a chat. So the ultimate things from today. What did we learn today? Candace Owens is a grifter and vile. PragerU is a grifter. We learned, for those of you who didn't know, Lee Harvey Oswald was a Marine. For those of you that didn't know, Watergate was not just a bungled burglary and the media attacking a president. It was Nixon covered it up. There was tapes of the cover-up. Was it Friday Night Massacre? There's a term for it because he fired all the people in the Justice Department until he found somebody who was going to fire the special prosecutor. The Pennsylvania abortion bills are just bad, and it is worth mentioning over and over again that this is not an effective way to handle abortion. It just isn't. The more effective way to handle abortion is to put more money into contraceptives, is into teach sex ed, things like that. Now, once again, for those of you who are new to the stream or did not catch me in the beginning, the rest of the stream, tomorrow we're gonna do a research stream. We're gonna go figure out if we can find out what's going on with whether the virus came from China or not. I'm sure there'll be other stories for me to cover. Also, next Tuesday, I think I'm doing a podcast, so I'm going to see if I'm going to be able to stream that at 8. And there might be another panel or something that I'm going to go to for Thursday. So it appears today we have degenerated into Bruce Willis movies. Is that what's currently happening here, chat? You're discussing Bruce Willis movies with... What about Red? Bro, I don't care about baseball either. Did I say baseball? Was I talking about baseball? I don't think I said baseball. I do basketball. No, TFK is wrong. Jesus. I don't know. So, I'm not a super artsy guy. My art teachers used to laugh at me. Claymation's interesting. Wallace and Gromit was always kind of funny. I mean, what is there? Chicken Run. Chicken Run was claymation. God, that's a movie. There used to be. There was a board game for Chicken Run. It was kind of like Sorry. You used it with the Play-Doh, and then you would smash the chickens. But yeah, that was any of you guys who are enjoying the stream, please, fuck you, Arrow. Leave a follow here. Leave a follow for Fresh Faces New Ideas. That's my YouTube channel. Or Faces Ideas, which is my Twitter. And here is the Discord. So that we could continue to have absurd conversations about things. What is this? Is this relevant to tomorrow? Is this relevant to...
When advertising on YouTube, I know that...
Who is this video from? What the hell just happened? I'm not upset about Bruce Willis. This is all...
Which was the intermediate animal? You might say it came from...
Okay, this is something that we could look at tomorrow, possibly. I'm not upset about Bruce Willis. Yes, we know you see dead people. You also think they voted for Biden. You should ask those dead people you see if they voted for Biden. We can look at it tomorrow. That'll be most of what we do. Tomorrow might be a long stream. Actually, no, I can't have a long stream. I have plans for the afternoon. But yeah, we'll do that stuff tomorrow. I know you have plenty of videos. So show up on time, DFK. And then we'll get into a big, long thing. We'll try to find some documents. I know that Sonsol had a conversation with Rob Noor about this. I might try to look into that. But, we have plenty of stuff. They've got a pretty good day today. I'm not denying science. No, I don't want to watch it today. I'm going to save that for tomorrow. I'm going to have more fun with it tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the day. I mean, it's not like I don't, watch the things you send me. You know what would be a good thing for you to do? You should go to the Discord. And you should drop it in the Discord so I don't lose it. That would be my suggestion. I did not deny women having... No, that is not what happened. Did you know that? That's what happened. I asked if you had a uterus. But yeah, look. Hey, we got 9 viewers, so I think that's... Do we actually have 9 viewers? Because this is off. This says 7. This says 9. I think we had 9 at one point. We must have had 9 at one point. I know a couple of you guys I see in the chat just never saw anything, but I'm happy you're here. Didn't you say you were a woman? I asked you that. Yes, we literally had this conversation right before Bruce Willis. You said, hoes know they're pregnant. You said it's the Sixth Sense. I asked if you're a woman. What is happening right now? What are you telling me? I don't know what to make of that. Okay. First off, you didn't tell me what your gender was. I don't purposely. I had just had this conversation with somebody. You were part of it about misgendering people. I don't misgender people unless it's an accident. So I apologize if I misgendered you. Best movie line. I have to think about that. All right. Well, now you're just being a troll. Best movie line. Let's look up some of the best movie lines because now we've just jumped the shark. Best movie lines. Top 100 lines. This was from 2016. That's a good one as well. So here we go, chat. We're gonna wrap up on this absurd topic. They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. They call me Mr. Tibbs. This is from what? The line from this was a good line as well. Planet of the Apes. How is this considered one of the best lines? This is awful. This should not be on the list. These weren't even good movies. There, here is a pretty iconic line. Oh, I just picked an article. I'm not actually taking this serious. I mean, we can find another one. All right, we don't need to keep into this. Yeah, there's plenty of iconic ones. You know what? We'll do it this way. Guys, hop on the Discord, and then we'll do a weekend. I think I have time for a weekend stream this week. We'll do like, Berg, you just met me. I hope you don't quit me. But you know what? You know what a hard way to quit me would be is if you followed me, or you hopped on the Discord, or you followed me on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube. That would be a hard way to quit me. Yes, that is a famous line. Do you not have the ability to quit me? That's very saddening. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll do TFK's favorite topic. We'll do the China lab leak. We'll see what we can find out about it. I'm sure there'll be other stuff that happens. We live in relatively famous, crazy times. You guys can hop onto the Discord and we can... Dude, what? Where's my car? That would be a good one. Dude, where's my car is a good line. Yes, and then we'll do a... We'll do a movie stream where we just yell famous lines at each other. We'll do it over the weekend. Oh, because I do have to do a weekend one with... I know I said tomorrow yesterday, but then I got caught up into... I got caught up into the PragerU and the Kenzo and stuff. It'll be tomorrow. I promise you it'll be tomorrow. Not denying science. I'm just not a topic I'm overly invested in. So we will do it tomorrow. You can come see tomorrow, and then you'll be happy. You'll have to find something. I'm not denying breaking news. It's not even breaking. There's no breaking news now. First off, I wouldn't be the first one in the know. If this data is out there enough that that it's a convincing theory, it would certainly not be the first one to know. Okay, so because just us, yes, We are going to be the only people who know this from finding publicly sourced information and videos. We will be the only people on the planet who have discovered whether or not it was a lab leak or not. That is the level of deep dive you're expecting, and I probably will not be able to live up to that level of investigative skills. Also, because I don't have a biology, it would help if any of you in the chat have biology background to tell me what the fuck I'd be looking at. Otherwise, we're just going to be blind people stumbling around in the dark trying to figure out where the light is. But yeah, other than that, we got... I don't really have much else, but... We did. This was a... I don't even know what that means. Yes, we had plenty of cross-references. I think it doesn't have a biology. Oh, you're talking about biology degree? Yeah. Yes. But neither did Trump. Lots of people didn't have biology degrees, and that's probably why we failed this so miserably. It's because we listened to crazy people instead of scientists. But anyway, that'll be for tomorrow. Once again, Discord, hop on it. We can have conversations offline. You can send me all your weird videos, because I have done videos and stuff based off of things on the Discord. Also, because we are such a small community, basically people's responses to me decide what the content is. I don't know if you guys, the DFK, you were here for that, definitely. The entire conversation that started based on the gun control stuff was basically in response to a single person's comment on one of my YouTube videos. There's so few of you that I will pretty much, if you guys bring up a topic, I'll be like, fuck it, man. You know. Oh boy, buddy. Yeah, but he's an epidemiologist, so it's not a national security. Yes, you can show guns on Twitch. You can't use them to threaten people. I've seen other people. Show things on Twitch. I think Vosh did it. As long as you're not threatening. I don't own any firearms. So I can't show them. So there's that. Yes, I'm an American. But I'm one of the ones without firearms. I don't leave my house, so I'm not in danger of ever being shot by a firearm. So there's that. But yes, I am an American, although I have not yet. I'm a red-blooded median American. I just don't need to own the firearm to prove that I'm an American, because I'm confident in my skin and I don't need to show off that I have a big gun and I'm actually terrified of the world. But as for this, I think I there's nothing to research. I have no desire to purchase a firearm. I just don't. If I will do an AMA at some point, I have to figure out what the view count what it is. Maybe when we get to an affiliate, I'll do an AMA, and then I think it's 25, 50. We have 50, then probably 100, then 200, and then after like 200, we'll hit like maybe every 100 or so. We'll see how much we grow. But the faster you guys follow, the faster I'll do an AMA. And the more you follow, you get a little more pull. Because I'm more likely to listen to somebody who supports what I do. I haven't even seen all the Die Hard movies. But But no, I just don't have a desire for a firearm. Yes, we will talk about all of your COVID theories. We will talk about all of your COVID theories. I will try to answer all of your COVID questions tomorrow. Because today, we're not getting into it. We've already done this for an hour and a half. We're going to play ball for the first time in like 2 weeks, so I need to eat. I got a couple errands to run. We got lives. There's things going on. The world be turning. Oh, I mean, there's less political stuff going on, so it's a good week to satiate my ever curious crowd. I don't think you can pick up a gun at Walmart anymore. Is that still a thing? Maybe it's the bullets you can't pick up anymore. I don't have a Wally World. I don't even know what a Wally World is. All right, guys. I think we're going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. DFK, we will look into your topic tomorrow. If you want to spam all of your videos, you should definitely do that in the Discord. This is where the Discord is. So that way you guys can ask me all your other absurd questions. I'm very open about things. I will talk to anybody pretty much about anything. Also, if you want to have a call-in conversation, this is how you do it. So, thank you guys for joining. We'll be back tomorrow at 1. We got a research stream and whatever other topics pop up. But we'll see. I hope you guys enjoyed today. I had some fun. I think that's what matters. So, see you guys next time.